Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Godzilla. Whoo, goddamn Godzilla. I was super excited for this film. I am a huge fan of Godzilla. He's the king of the monsters. He's one of my favorite monsters in any film series ever, or just any film ever. And you know what? Even though he's a monster and he's a cause of destruction, he's also a hero and a villain. He could be both of those, and that makes me feel like Godzilla should just be a character. When you refer to Godzilla, you should say, hey, that character is amazing, because Godzilla, he's lived, well, he hasn't lived really, but he's been around for 60 years. It's been 60 years since Godzilla has existed. I mean, it has was brought into this world. Not literally, of course, but it's been 60 years, and Godzilla is a character in my book, so I was super excited for this film. When I saw the trailer December with The Hobbit, I remember it was with The Hobbit because I was like, oh man, I'm definitely going to see Hobbit now in IMAX because I need to see this trailer. And of course, I saw it, I was just like, you know what, screw The Hobbit. Can we just see this movie right now? I mean, I'll watch Hobbit later, sure, I'm excited, but Godzilla. I'm a huge fan of Godzilla, and I just needed to see this film. It looked like the perfect Godzilla film. It's been years since we got a brand new Godzilla film, so we need a perfect reboot so we can have more Godzilla films. And of course, this movie it blew me away. Like I said before, it's not just pretty good. This movie blew me away. I absolutely love this film. Now, before I go on, let me just say, hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my review for Godzilla. Didn't say that in the beginning. I always do. Well, not Godzilla, but I always introduce the movie I'm reviewing. But, I got that out of the way. And also, this is going to be a very not structured review, unlike most of my other reviews where I structure it by talking about story, acting, you know, whatever. This one's going to be very not structured because I'm going to do another review later on in the week where it's going to be me and a couple friends talking about it for a good 30, 40, maybe even 50 minutes where we just talk about all the little things that happen. Like, of course, we're going to review it, but we're also going to talk about all the spoilerific stuff. So, there you go. Got that out of the way, okay? Now let's get back into the review. Godzilla is freaking epic. I don't like saying epic anymore, but I'm sorry, I have to say it. This movie is epic. There are maybe a good 5, 6, 7... yeah, I would say 7 times where I heard people just losing their shit, clapping and going, yes, yes. There was like 3 people in front, well, not in front of me, they were right next to me, going, this movie is awesome throughout the entire film. And you know what? That made me so happy because when I was watching it, I was loving it, but I didn't know how everyone else was liking it because it starts off slow. It definitely does. It doesn't show you Godzilla, or you see glimpses of Godzilla here and there, but you don't see Godzilla like full scale, head to toe, until maybe an hour into this film. I didn't know how everybody was liking it, but at the end, when I heard everybody's reaction, I was so happy because everybody was like, that's the best movie I've seen this year. That's the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. That is exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I heard from everybody. Well, not everybody. There's too many people to know, but there was a lot of people there saying exactly that. And I was so happy because I agreed at every moment. When it gets into the action, no spoilers here. There are other monsters that Godzilla fights here. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but there are tons and tons of other reviews that say that. So you know what? I don't think it's a spoiler anymore. Everybody's saying it. Hell, they even show the monster in the trailer a few times here and there. So you know what? I don't think it's that much of a spoiler. But I'm not going to say what monster it is. You have to figure that out yourself. Go see the film when it comes out. Anyway, when Godzilla fights these other creatures, I love how they shoot this film. Gareth Edwards, you are the man. You are amazing because the way he shoots the action is just breathtaking. This is how they shoot the action. We follow the human characters throughout pretty much the entire film, and whenever the action is happening, most of the time the camera is still with the human characters, but at times it'll just move over and you'll see like this big action scene. And I know a lot of people will probably be like, oh no, come on, just stay with the action. I want to see that more. But me, I was just like, I feel like I'm here. I feel like I'm right here watching these monsters destroying houses and freaking businesses and stuff. I was just like, oh man, this is exactly what I want from a Godzilla film. A movie that has Godzilla in it, and I feel like I'm actually in there with Godzilla while he's wrecking stuff. Now, what I was really worried about for this film is the human characters. Is there going to be good human drama, good dialogue when there is no Godzilla on the screen? Am I going to be bored? And luckily, I wasn't. I actually really dug the characters in this film. First of all, the acting for pretty much everybody is great. And Bryan Cranston, let me just say this, his character is so likable in the beginning. You really do feel bad for him. He feels very human, very realistic. His character is really likable because you feel so bad for him. You do get to know his character, what he's like, but you really do feel bad for him in the beginning because he's just a regular family man and something just really bad happens to him. And man, this movie does drama in the beginning so well. Now, his character, he has a son, of course, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson in the film. They kind of like hang out, like they group together in the beginning of the film. They're trying to figure out, of course, what happened with this big thing that happened in the beginning of the film. I'm not going to spoil it, but when Aaron Taylor Johnson goes on his own and leaves Bryan Cranston's character, and he's on his own, and now he's our main character. He's not the best. He isn't. I mean, he's a good actor. He's really good in the film, but he's not an amazing character. He really isn't. I mean, he's a soldier. He has some character to him. You kind of like him a little bit. He has some charisma, but he isn't Bryan Cranston. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say. I wish Bryan Cranston was really the main character here, but he really isn't. When Aaron Taylor Johnson comes on the screen, it's pretty much his show from there on out. And I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's Godzilla's show, let's be honest. But out of the human characters, it is his show. But even though he's not amazing, he's good. I like this character. Even though he's not amazing, everybody else, my dogs are barking, everybody else is terrific. I mean, Ken Watanabe's great in this, Sally Hawkins, Juliette Binoche, Elizabeth Olsen, just so many really great actors. David Strathairn? I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's great as well. I mean, sure, a lot of the characters are very minor characters, so don't expect to really feel exactly who they are as people, but they're really good acting wise, and the dialogue itself is very well written. When it just becomes a movie about them trying to figure out how to get rid of these monsters, it's still very interesting. And I like that when it gets to the military aspect of this film, I thought it was going to be so generic where all the military, they're kind of like douchebags and stuff. They're just like, all right, we just need to figure out what's good for the people of Earth and stuff, you know, the typical generic military. I really like that. There's times where it just slows down and you're just like, no, the military, they actually give a damn, and they're not douchebags about it. They really aren't. So I really like that about the film. It's not a generic military that you see in so many films like that. I really like that. The dialogue is great, like I said. The writing itself is great too. I really like that they explain a lot of stuff too. There's a lot of things in this film that at first don't make any sense, but then they explain it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, now thank you for explaining. Now I get it. But of course, the main reason why you should see this film is the action, like I said. And again, when they do the action in this film, when Godzilla is screwing things up, oh man, I was so happy. I really was. There's maybe 3 scenes. I've said there's 3 scenes in the movie that I wanted to get up and clap. I mean, everybody else in the audience clapped at these moments, but I don't usually clap at things. I'm just like, huh, that's awesome. But I don't get up like, oh yeah, I wanted to. I was so close to getting up, and I don't want to spoil that. I will in my spoilerific review later on, but there's 3 moments. Let me just say, the first one's not a spoiler. When they first reveal Godzilla and you can see him from head to toe, I got so excited. And of course, it is one of the most epic things on screen ever. It is terrific how they show Godzilla at first, because I mean, it's a build-up. It's like an hour into the film, and then you get to see Godzilla, and you're just like, worth it. I mean, if you watch this movie again, you have to watch it from beginning to end, because yeah, I mean, watching it halfway through and then just seeing Godzilla out of nowhere, it's not the same effect as having a whole hour of really interesting stuff, but then building up to that one thing you really want, and that's Godzilla, and then you're just like, yeah! It's awesome. Those other 2 things I can't spoil, but oh boy, those other 2 things are so good. So I love this film. I really do. The action's amazing. I didn't mention this before, but the special effects, what they do with the special effects in this film, a lot of people are going to say that they're like hiding the special effects, like they're embarrassed by them, because you don't see you see Godzilla a lot where it's kind of like daylight and it's bright out and you do see him and he looks amazing, but there's a lot of times where you see him in smoke and dark areas or maybe on a black and white TV or something like that. And sure, a lot of people are going to hate that because, oh man, they're not showing Godzilla too much. But me, again, I loved it. I felt like I was there because, I mean, I wouldn't be right in Godzilla's freaking face like, hey, what's up, bro? While he's like destroying shit. Also, the Godzilla roar in this film is awesome. The best roar ever. And of course, that's a trademark roar. I can't say roar for some reason. Roar. 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 It's an amazing roar. Anyway, I love this film. I know it's a very scattered review, but let me go through everything I love about the film. Okay, the acting's great. The dialogue is great. When it gets to the monster combat action, it's amazing. I love how it's filmed. The writing, I already said that, but writing is really good. The cinematography is amazing. The movie itself is beautiful. Of course, the two main scenes that everybody really loved from the trailer is, of course, the one where all the soldiers are skydiving and you see the destruction of the city, and that part where they're shooting the flares up into the sky and you just see little bits of Godzilla. Moments like that are amazing, but I also love that the scenery also kind of tells its own story. If you just pay attention, you'll be like, oh, that's really sad, just looking at things that happened. Also, I also love that this movie doesn't sheer away from showing people die. I mean, there's plenty of moments where you see people get either squashed or drown or just straight up die, and I really like that. I mean, I don't want to see that in real life, but I like that it's not just being the kid-friendly version of Godzilla. No, people die. People definitely die. So I love this film. I really do. I'm just going to stop and say 10 out of 10. I really do. And it's probably my favorite film of this year. Sorry, Captain America. I love this film. So there you go. There's Godzilla. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.